Hello, hello, hello. Yep. Okay, cool. Got my little handy dandy pocket right there. All right, so change of plans. We're gonna review some today because I'm thinking some of us don't know what we're doing. Is that a true statement? Some of us don't know what we're doing. Okay. All right, let's do this first though. Then we will look at that delta math together. And then what I'll do is I'll just wait until next week to do the quiz over this. Tomorrow I'll give you some more practice. So, okay, number one, if you multiply two integers together and then add 4, the result is 40. Which of the following could not be the sum of the two numbers? If you multiply two integers together, then add 4, the result is 40. Okay, so like x times y plus 4 equals 40, right? Okay, two integers multiplied together, add 4, the result is 40. So then what I need to do here is subtract out that 4. So x times y is going to actually equal 36, right? So now I need the factors of 36 so I can figure out what the sum cannot be. So 1 times 36, 2 times 18, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times, 6. Okay, so now the sum of those numbers is 37, 20, 15, 13, and 12. So it says which one cannot be a sum. So 12 is, 13 is, 15 is, and 20 is. The only one that is not a sum is 18. So 18 is your answer. Then it says, in the following figure, the two horizontal lines are parallel. Which of the following does not equal 180? Okay, now this goes back to your geometry class and remembering what you know about geometry class, parallel lines, and transversal. Okay, so 180 is either a linear pair, two things that form a linear equation. They could be like same side interior angles are going to be supplementary. They would equal 180. So like if you look at this one, this is going to be 180 because they're a linear pair. They form a line together. So that one does equal 180. So U plus T is 180. So that one's not the option. Then we have P plus R. So let's look at that. P and R. Okay. R is here. So its corresponding angle is there. Remember, corresponding is the one that's in the same location using the transversal. So these are in the same spot. So now R and P are definitely going to be a linear pair. So they equal 180. So that's not it. P and T. Okay, T's down here. So this would be P. I'm thinking that might be our answer. P and T don't really have a relationship. I can't really figure out how we would get them together. So that one might be it. We'll come back to it. Q and S. There's Q, there's S. So again, this angle and this angle are going to be corresponding. So this is the same as S. Those two would be a linear pair. Linear pairs equal 180. Okay, then R plus S plus T. Okay, R, S, and T are the vertical angles here to here. So that one's R. This one here is S. Vertical angles are the ones that touch on the nose. So those are vertical angles. And then T would be right here because those are vertical angles. So with all that drawn, that means R, S, and T are inside angles of a triangle. What do you know about the inside angles of a triangle? They have to equal 180. So it's definitely going to be B. The only reason I was thinking B is because there's really no relationship between B. The other ones kind of have a relationship, whether they were corresponding, whether we could put them together to make a triangle. P and T have no relationship. So therefore, that is the one that does not equal 180. Okay, make sure your name is on that. I will come to you. Don't give it to your neighbor. I will also staple it if I need to staple it. We will do this not every week because you're only with me for 4 days a week, but probably every 2 weeks-ish. So like next week, we only have 2 weeks before Thanksgiving break. So yeah, so we'll do it 2 weeks and then I'll take them up again. And then after Christmas, we'll probably just do like the whole 3 weeks after Thanksgiving. And then I will take them up. Just don't tear yours out. I'll just check yours in there. Next time, just do them like this. So you can turn them in. It's okay. I didn't tell you that you were going to do that. Just one paper. Perfect. Thank you. This is just free points for y'all is what this is. It's just me being able to take something and give you some points. So that's why I like to do that. Everybody likes free points. Speaking of free points, we are going to participate in the food drive. And typically my first hour usually is one of the ones that wins. Okay, so we're going to do that again. I'm super competitive. I like to participate in that. The food drive is something that our school does every year to raise cans and food for our shelter here in Shreveport. So I always do points per cans. And so you would bring in cans. You can go to Walmart or wherever and get the, like, I think I just bought green beans for like, I don't know, 52 cents a can or something like that. So you don't have to get the like expensive kind of stuff. They need vegetables and all kind of things. So I will get all that worked out for you, but some of you are wanting a bonus and are wanting to bring your grade up. That is a way that you can do that. Plus, if we win, we get a prize. Last year they did donuts for the first hour. Oh, it's close. Do what? Yes, first hour is the only one that competes, but like my whole classes, like all of my classes will bring cans. So, yeah. And then last year what I did, which was really, it was fun, is we competed amongst my classes, and the class that brought the most cans, okay, like first hour, second hour, third hour, obviously I do like a percentage based on a percentage because not all of my classes have 34 people or whatever, but whoever has the highest percentage of giving, I gave them an extra extra 20 points or something like that, just to everybody. Who are you looking for, Hannah? I already gave her hers. She needs another one? Bye. Did you order two? Okay. So I probably will do that again, but let me get all my ducks in a row and get that all straight so I can tell you the rules, and then we'll start bringing them probably next week and be done with it before we go to Thanksgiving break. Okay. So there will be a cap. Like, I'm not going to let you get 100 points in cans. Like, you can't roll up here with 100 cans or whatever it is, but I will definitely make it worth your while so that you can get some points for that. And then this will be your bonus for this 9 weeks. Okay, so if you want a bonus, this would be the one that you want to participate in. And if going out and buying cans is not something your family can do, then you can just have that conversation with me individually and I'll give you a math assignment, okay? So that's typically how I handle that, okay? All right, so we are supposed to be starting 7-4 today, but looking at the Delta math results, so many of us don't have an A on that assignment, okay? And so I want us to really understand how to do this because factoring and solving by factoring is on the ACT, okay? It is absolutely on the ACT. So what we're gonna do today is in class, we're gonna take some notes. I'm gonna want you to submit your notes. So I need you to get on a piece of paper, just a blank sheet of paper. We're gonna work problems, work through them. I want you working through those problems. And then I'm going to extend that Delta math assignment so that those of you that don't have 100% yet can go and finish that tonight, okay? If you have 100%, then you just wouldn't have any homework tonight. And then tomorrow, I will probably give you several problems to do, okay? Just some more practice problems to do, not in the form of Delta math, just probably a worksheet that I'll put together as more practice problems. And then after that, on next week, Monday we'll do 7-4, and then on Tuesday you'll take your quiz, okay? So I think that's gonna be better. I just don't ever wanna teach something just to say that I teach it. I actually want you to learn it. So that's why I think it's best for us to pump the brakes for a second and go to Delta and look at it. So I'm just going to go to Delta Math and we're just going to work some of the problems together. That's what you're going to be putting on your notes. Are y'all hating Delta Math? Are y'all the class that hated it so much with Miss Dean? Yeah. Okay. Is it as bad as it used to be, or is it getting, it's okay? Okay.
Or maybe just because Miss Dean had like an unbelievable amount of questions every time she did it.
Right. Hey, we're Zooming, just so you know.
Okay.
I just wanted you to know to be smart with what you say. It's going on YouTube. YouTube it. And I have like 54 subscribers, so I'm pretty much an influencer. I mean, if I start making money off of algebra and geometry lessons, I quit. Because, yes. I know all those TikTokers are like famous and make millions of dollars. I'm trying to think if my kids are cool enough for me to like be a TikToker. Okay, this is what mine looks like. It's obviously different than yours because I'm a teacher and you're a student. Don't look at your grades. Maybe I don't know how to do that. What about, did I break it? How do I want to go do this. See how detailed it is? It's like really detailed. And it like tells you like if you watched a video or not. Like I know that these people watched a video, like bravo for you. So it's so great for teachers. I don't know if you love it as much as I do, but okay, obviously that's not going to work out for us doing it that way. So I'm going to have to come in here and look at it this way. We were factoring. Let's just find it. Do y'all see it? No. Where? Factoring trinomials? Yeah, you're right. But we didn't start with the game. I started with something else. Okay, this one, didn't I? No. It's the solving by factoring. That's what it is. Yes. Okay, this is how we started. Okay, so these may be the problems that you've already done, or they may be completely different, okay? We're just going to kind of pop through these and do some different problems, and make sure you understand what you're supposed to be doing. This one says, write the quadratic equation in standard form. Remember that standard form is ax squared plus bx plus c equals 0. This is what's so important, is it has to equal 0. Yes. In this, you have to. Yes. So I'm going to subtract 7 on both sides. That's going to give me x squared plus 5x minus 7 equals 0. It has to be in that order. You have to have the x squared first, then your x term, and then your minus 7. And that's what you're going to type in as your answer. So y'all remember that because I got to type it in. So what was it? X squared. How do you get this? X squared plus 5x. Five x man, that equals is, I'm not even pressing it. Okay. Perfect. Yes, I want to cement that. Great. Next question. Do what? Yeah, write these down. You do this one first. I'm going to give you a head start. This is how you're getting your points for the day, plus doing your delta math. All right, let's see. I'm going to subtract x squared from both sides. Negative x squared plus 5x plus 12 equals 0. Now, if you type that in, I think it's going to say it's wrong, okay? Because when we do this, a needs to be positive, and that's not something I've ever told you. So that's why these videos will probably help. If you're getting these wrong, watch the video, because I've never said this to you, and if you didn't remember that from Algebra 1, then you probably got that wrong. A needs to be positive. So what do we do if a is negative? You can divide everybody by -1 or multiply everybody by -1, which basically just changes everybody's signs. So this is going to be positive x squared instead of plus 5x minus 5x, instead of plus 12 minus 12, and there's no such thing as -0, so just 0. Now that should be right. Y'all got that written down so I can write that in? Oh, you got to just move me out of your way. Just think. Is that better? Okay. Okay. So tell it to me. X squared minus 5x minus 12 equals 0. Bingo. Okay, so that's how that set works. You're solving and setting it equal to 0. Then I think the next set was just a little bit more challenging. Same thing, we're doing the same thing. It's just a little uglier. Okay, so write that one down. Okay, I'm going to subtract 4 first. That's going to be my first thought, because that will get it equal to 0. So then I would have 7x minus 15 plus 5x squared equals 0. So yes, it's equal to 0, but is it in standard form? No, you need ax squared plus bx plus c. So who needs to come first? It is positive, so I can just say 5x squared. Who's next? 7 is positive, so plus 7x. And you do minus 15, and that equals 0. Got it? I'm not going to submit it. I'm just going to click new answer, but y'all got that in before I clear it out? Okay, new problem. All right. I'm going to give you a head start on this one. Let you try that one on your own. Okay, y'all put your pencils down, so I'm guessing y'all are done. So let's look. The first thing I'm going to do, if I could get my pen, is add 3x squared and add 4. I always take everything on the right-hand side and move it to the left. Okay, always move that way because you want it to equal 0. So when I look at this, 3x squared is going to be first. 11 is not like terms, and 3x is not like terms. You know that, right? This one, like when I teach it to my Algebra 1 students, we talk about last names, okay? Like my last name is Cole. There's a separate family called Coleman. Those are not my family, okay? Just because they have C-O-L-E in their name does not mean they're the same family as me, okay? That's the same thing with this x and x squared. X squared and x are not family, okay? Coleman, they're not the same family. So you can't add those together. They don't belong at the same family reunion. So we're leaving 3x squared by itself. Don't combine it with 3x. Then we have this negative 3x. Then we have negative 11 and positive 4. Now those are family. They don't have an x at all, so they belong together, so put them together. Negative 11 plus 4 gives me negative 7, and that equals 0. Did you get it? So that's how you do the second set. Okay, so that's the first set, second set. Now let's go back and see if I can figure out what was next. Setting equations equal to 0. I don't think I did that. I think it's this one. Was there just 3 topics that you had to do? There's 5? I'll have to go see what else I did. Okay, so for this one, we are actually solving these out. But before you can solve them out, you have to set them equal to 0. So write that down. And then I'm going to add 2x. And when I add it to the other side, I'm going to stack it with its like term. So I'm going to stack it right underneath 2x because, 8x, because those are family members. And then plus 3, I'm going to put it with minus 3. So that cancels, that cancels. So now we have x squared plus 10x equals 0, right? So we've got to this point where the 3's canceled out, and now we're left with one that only has ax squared plus bx. There's no c, just equals 0. It is. But we would have, like, if we left it there, we would have to write it like this. Like that. Which you can. If that makes it easier for you to see that, then do it. That's totally fine. But what we're going to do right here to solve this is not do a box. We don't need a box for this one because we don't have a c. You wouldn't put a 0 there. Okay, there's not going to be any factors. It's not going to work out like that. So what we have to do right here is take out the greatest common factor. What is the greatest common factor of x squared and 10x? X. So you put that on the outside of the parentheses. It's called, like, I don't know exactly what it's called, but it's like undistributing. Okay, that's not really a word. I'm just making that up. You know the distributive properties when you take something and distribute it in. Well, what we're doing is we're distributing it out. We're taking it away from each one. So I'm taking away an x from x squared. So what's going to be left for that? X. If I take an x away from 10x, what's going to be left for that? It still equals 0. So you undistributed. You took it out. So now we're left with this equals 0. So this one is just simply going to equal 0. X equals 0. That's a solution. This x doesn't have anything else with it, but it doesn't mean it's nothing. We still have to set it equal to 0. That means your parabola crosses at 0, the origin. Okay? Then we take the one that's in parentheses, set it equal to 0. Solve for x. So how do I get x by itself? Subtract 10. So x equals negative 10. So you have two answers. This was what a little tricky typing these into Delta Math. Hopefully you figured that out by now. Christian showed me on your phone that you can press this little plus sign and it will give you an additional spot. Okay, on the computer, if you put a comma, does it give you an additional spot? So there's some different ways to do that. But I need both of those answers in here. They don't want you to put x equals. They literally just want you to put the number. So the first number was 0. Then you can click this little plus, and it will give you another spot. And then here I can put, was it negative 10? Negative 10. Now, this is not an ordered pair. Okay, and the reason you know it's not an ordered pair is because it's with the grouping symbol. So that's a list. If it's an ordered pair, it has the parentheses around it. Okay, so then you click yes. Ta-da. Then they give you an explanation, and you can see they did exactly what we did. They undistributed there. They give you your answer. Let's get a new problem. All right, write that one down. See if you can start that one without me. I'm going to see what our other topics were on this. All right, what's the first step? Good, add 3x, and you want to add it to its like term, which is the negative x. So that gives me x squared stays the same. That's positive 2x minus 8 equals 0. Okay, so then we're ready to factor this out. This is our normal problem. Okay, so from here, what we're going to do is make a box. And a lot of you have learned the box is really just to organize your work, keep your work straight. It's not required, but it is very helpful. Okay, so negative 8, we want the factors of negative 8, which are 1 and 8, 2 and 4. Which ones do we want? Because we want our sum to be positive 2. So how are we going to make 2 and 4 become positive 2? That's right. We want the 2 to be our negative, or the one that we're taking away. And when we multiply negative 2 times 4, it does give us negative 8. So everything checks out. You got your box filled in. From there, you're taking your like terms, and remember we want 2 to be negative. We decided that over there, that we want 2 to be negative. So then we have x plus 4, x minus 2 equals 0. Then what do? Set both of them equal to 0 and solve. So subtract 4, x equals negative 4, add 2, x equals 2. Those are your two answers, negative 4, positive 2. Got it? Now, let's go back. The next topic was this one. Solve by trinomial by factoring. So this is exactly what we're doing. It's the same thing. You got to get it equal to 0. I don't know what I'm doing. All right, which factors? 1 and 6 or 2 and 3? That's going to give us 7. We want it to give us a sum of 7. So 1x and 6x. Take out your x, take out your 6, take out your x, take out your 1. The only thing they have in common is 1. So then you have x plus 1, x plus 6 equals 0. Then what? Set them both equal to 0. So we're going to subtract 1, x equals negative 1, subtract 6, x equals negative 6. Are you getting it? You have questions? Now, the next section, the last section that you have is the hardest one because it's the one where you have to do slip and slide. Okay, everything else is the same. We're still doing this process. You just have to do slip and slide. So let's take a look at one of those. And then we have touched all of the topics. All right. All right, I'm going to add 5x. It doesn't have a like term over here, so I'm just going to put plus 5x kind of off to the side. And then plus 10, I'm going to put right underneath the 13 because they're like terms. So the first thing I do is write this in standard form. What's standard form going to look like? That's right. So that's going to be your standard form. 2x squared plus 5x minus 3 equals 0. That's your standard form. Now, this is where you have to do the slip and slide. I think you only had a couple of these to do. Okay, so it's not like I gave you a ton of them to do, but you still have to slip and slide that across. You've got to slip the 2 over by multiplying. Once you get to this point, what are you going to do? Make a square. X squared is there. Negative 6 is there. What are the factors of negative 6 that give you 5? You've got to use 1 and 6 because somebody has to be negative. 2 plus 3 gives you 5, but it doesn't. 2 times 3 doesn't give you negative 6. We need it to be negative 6. So negative 1 times 6 gives you negative 6. Negative 1 plus 6 gives you positive 5. Everybody see that? This one always gets students. People get this one wrong every year. Then we take out our greatest common factor, x. Does 6 need to be negative? No. X, negative 1 needs to be negative. I'm not ready to set it equal to 0. That's right. I need to slide down the 2 and divide by 2. What's 6 divided by 2? That's 3. So this one's just x plus 3. What about 1 divided by 2? There you go. 2x minus 1. Now we can set it equal to 0. So this does take a little bit more work. It's a little bit harder. Yes, ma'am. That's because they're not wanting it as 2x minus 1. They want the answer. You need to set them equal to 0 and solve. Yes. So we got to take x plus 3 and set it equal to 0. And then 2x minus 1 and set it equal to 0. So you subtract the 3. X equals negative 3. Add the 1. 2x equals 1. Divide by 2. X equals 1/2. So what you're going to enter is negative 3 and 1/2. Yes. Yes. For which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Yes. I'm going to go revamp the module or whatever. You need to submit your notes that you just took. You need to finish Delta Math. I want everyone to have 100. If you didn't make 100, go back and fix it so that you can get 100%. I'm just going to know that you have them. Okay? I know. I saw you do them. Oh, you did these? Good for you. Thank you.